A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Friday edition of the show. It promises to be very exciting. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, there's a lot lined up for you tonight. We're going to be going to Asaba. Of course, we will be taking a look at the Super Eagles, looking at their preparations for the friendly against the Warriors of Zimbabwe. And as we do that, we'll also, on the show tonight, spare a thought for, of course, the FIFA Women's World Cup, and also look at what is happening on the domestic scene, talking about the MPFL Championship playoffs. We'll do that for you on the show tonight. It promises to be an exciting show tonight. I also have in the house some exciting guests that will be helping me to dissect the issues. I will not introduce them yet. But I also want to let you know that you can be a part of all that we're doing on the show. As you can see right there on your screen, the Super Eagles of Nigeria doing their light workout, having their training, perfecting strategies for that game against the Warriors. So, of course, this will dominate our thoughts tonight on the show as we progress. Of course, the question hanging in the air, which two players will be dropped by Coach Rohr, is going to be interesting. I'm very sure the guys in the house too I'll put them on the spot. Maybe they'll have one or two predictions as per the players that will be dropped. Coach Rohr dropped the hint at the presser yesterday. So if that's anything to go by, I guess it will give us some idea of the players that will be dropped. That's the outlook of the show today. All right, let's bring you into all that we're doing at this point. The show is for you, is all about you. So let's tell you that you can be a part of this show, and I'm very sure you're going to see how you can do just that. Of course, you can get information on all our top stories. You can get those information when you visit our website. That's channelstv.com. And also you can view our top stories on youtube.com/channelsweb. That's where you get the videos from. You can watch Channels Television live stream on YouTube and all other social media platforms using your mobile browser. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS devices from their respective stores. This is how you can be a part of the show tonight. Okay, so that's it. Let's get into all of it on the show tonight. Let me quickly introduce my partners tonight. Let me start from the far corner. Alfred Okoligwe joins us today. Alfred, it's always good to have you around.
Delighted to be here, Yemi. An interesting weekend where so much is happening in sports. For the women, it's all started, all of the preparations, all of the things we're talking about. Hopefully, when the numbers come in this year, I have this feeling, I have this sneak feeling that the numbers of, when it comes to fans engagement, people following their teams, there will be some kind of a shift because people are really interested in what the women are doing. And so for the Super Falcons, they have their work cut out, and we'll see how they fare this year. But for the big one for me is the MPFL Championship playoff.
Okay.
It's an awesome one, and
right.
I'm sure that for those who have their teams playing in it, everybody just have their fingers crossed. We don't know where it's going.
That was a wrap-up, Alfred. That's everything we're doing today. But Daniel Onifade as well joins us tonight. I guess there are many talking points for the weekend for you as well.
Yeah, many talking points. It's good to be here. Let me start that way. But again, the high point for me, you said the MPFL Championship. I think it's the Super Eagles list I'm looking forward to. The friendly tomorrow against Zimbabwe will be a major pointer to the way we play. And then I think More important is the two players that will be dropped, and it's going to be a difficult one to take. But I'm sure those guys, they're probably used to it. Really.
Okay. So. All right. Let's quickly go to London. Let's do that quickly and link up with our friend Segun Jegede. Of course, let's get his views about the Super Eagles and some other things. Segun, if you can hear me, it's good to have you join us tonight. Okay, so let me just quickly ask you, the Nations Cup is approaching. Do you consider Nigeria as one of the favorites? Okay, we can't seem to get across to Segun right there. We'll try to we'll try to fix it and see if we can have that conversation with him. It will be good to have other perspectives as well. Okay, guys, the ball has dropped on your laps, so let's just go straight into it. Let me start with Alfred. Everything is falling into place for the Super Eagles, and after tomorrow's friendly against Zimbabwe, we'll know who the players that will represent us at the competition in Egypt. We'll know the 23. We have an idea. You know, there's been a lot of speculation. There's been a lot of opinions, divided opinions. I don't want to ask you. I know you're not getting a Raw, but if you were to trim the squad, what would you do?
Well, I'm not gonna. I know it's going to be difficult for any coach. Absolutely, very tough decisions will be taken, because it's not easy to get somebody that you feel that, hey, he deserves to be there. There's only a limit to a number that you can take, and so it becomes extremely difficult. Talk to the players. You know the players that you want to take. Perhaps for me, the release of the list that has 2 players extra just shows you that the coach has already made up his mind, save for 1 or 2 places that he wants to just look at the players again closely to make up his mind. The game against Zimbabwe tomorrow might reveal 1 or 2 things. Maybe finally make up his mind to say, okay, you're going to be on the plane or not. It's really tight. I think we are lightweight, maybe in the midfield, we are a bit lightweight there. The goalkeeping positions have been decided like since after the World Cup. We now know it's like a permanent fixture for us. The defenders, okay, maybe 1 or 2 places. The coach has shown his hand. He said he will ask a midfielder, and it becomes. That is his call, because at the end of the day, the ball stops on his table. Okay. He knows these guys close quarters. Whether there is enough competition in the team is what I don't know. Okay. What I don't know, because sometimes I'm not too comfortable having the players that you're taking to the World Cup without giving them that sense of we don't have no guarantees. You just, the moment they look at the team list and look at the guys in camp, some of them will just make up their mind, hey, you know what, I'm on the plane going to the World Cup. The last time I witnessed that, I was the Eagles camped in Durban. That was in 2009 for the Angola 2010 Nations Cup. Coach Amadou Shaibu, God bless his soul, took every player, in fact the team, except for Naramo. In fact, Naramo was told from here that he was not going to make the team to South Africa. The kind of training sessions they had, you just feel that these guys, nobody is pushing them. Everybody, they're already in the squad. They're already on the plane to the Nations Cup. Nobody is pushing anybody. And so the same scenario is playing out here. Okay. But I think these guys, the experience of the World Cup, the first time for so many of them playing in the Nations Cup might just be a challenge. So the coach will have to live with his decisions at the end of the day. All right.
Damlola, let me quickly get your thoughts. We're going to return to the Skype shortly, but let me get your thoughts. When you hear the coach say, I'm going to drop somebody in the forward line and I'm going to drop somebody in the midfield, he hinted. It doesn't mean he will get to do that, but does it surprise you? A midfield that is already linked?
Yeah, very surprising. I mean, a midfield of just 4 players. And if you're dropping 1, it means we are going to the World Cup with basically 3 midfielders. And to the Nations Cup. That, for me, is a bit suicidal, to say the least. And because, again, I look at the whole of that midfield, even the 4 players, they are life for life for me, in my opinion. And that's why I came to his point of maybe there is not enough competition there. If you're going to drop, I'll probably take one defender and one striker.
Okay.
Because that's where it seems to be overloaded, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me allow Shegun weigh in with his own thoughts. Shegun, if you can hear me, let's just dive straight into it. Your thoughts about the Super Eagles. Do you consider them as one of the favorites to win the title in Egypt?
Well, we have to consider them as one of the favorites with the caliber of players they have in the national team. And they have a lot of players played in different parts of the world, Premiership, La Liga, everywhere. And they're doing very well. So they definitely have to be one of the favorites. Where I just see us lacking a little bit is our discipline when it comes to tactics and technical abilities, which we really, really have to work on. It's been something that's really been against Nigerian football for a very, very long time. But hopefully this time around, the lads can gear up, have all hands on deck, and bring the cup home.
Okay. Since you're based in England, let me throw this one to you. Which one of the stars in the English Premier League, African stars, I mean, you think will shine brightly, would carry their team on the shoulder? Because sometimes their form in the club doesn't translate to the national team. But which of those players, Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Alex Iwobi, Riyad Mahrez, which of these stars do you think will shine bright in Egypt?
The names you've mentioned, definitely I think Sadio Mane is one that will do really well. Alex Iwobi depends on the kind of formation Nigeria plays, but he's a player that comes in trend. But the definite ones I'll pick, definitely you pick Sadio Mane, you pick the beautiful Egyptian man doing wonders for his team, and you carry them with Salah, that is. I mean, all the names you had admired, all the names you've mentioned, they should do well. But the two for me, Mane and Salah, will definitely carry their countries on their shoulders, and they will perform.
Okay. Since you consider Nigeria as one of the favorites, which other countries are in that bracket for you?
Well, I mean, this Nation Cup seems to be tricky once in a while, and I feel, you cannot rule Egypt out because they're the host nation, and over time we've seen that, teams from that part of Africa seem to be somehow technically geared up more than their counterparts. So I'm looking at Egypt. I'm looking at Nigeria. Senegal is another team that I believe they can go all the way as well. So those are my three predictions. We just have to wait and see, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, Shegun, before I'll let you go, any transfers in the offing, African players, or any African player that we should be watching out for in the future?
Well, it's still early days. I'm sure the clubs are doing their jobs right now. Not that I know of anyway, but I know that as soon as the African Nations Cup comes to conclusion, we start hearing things happening here and there. But for now, I do not know of any that's happening, to be honest.
All right, Shegun, I want to thank you for your time on the show tonight, taking time out of your busy schedule to weigh in with your opinion on the Super Eagles and African teams in general. All right, guys, let's just go back to where we left it off. Let me go back to you, Damilola. He's talking about the Super Eagles. You heard him say he considers Nigeria to be one of the favorites. I don't know if you agree.
No, definitely. I mean, irrespective of what you might think of the Super Eagles, whether young, like the coach has been singing for the past 2 years, or maybe you still want to hold on to the inexperience slogan. I call it slogan because for me, you can't go to the World Cup and be going to the Nations Cup and we are still saying you are inexperienced. So I feel Nigeria should be favourite. And maybe the only country I probably will put ahead of the Super Eagles going to this Nations Cup would be Egypt. And that's largely because they are hosting. Okay. That's my view. So Nigeria should be there. And anything short of a semi-final, please.
Failure.
For me, it's complete failure. Okay. Complete failure.
Alfred.
For me, failure will be if at the end of the day we'll see a performance like that, the kind of performance put up by Flying Eagles. I mean, yes, one of the favorites to do very well in this competition. We have some very good teams around, and if we don't eventually win it, I'll be comfortable if I know that the players gave their all, and perhaps maybe luck or something, they don't get it. We just have to be proud of the kind of performance they put out there.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a question of just going there. Like I said, it's going to be difficult. You know why? Many of these players have not experienced the Nations Cup. Yeah. Many of the guys that came in, some of them found their way to the national team, not from Nigeria, not playing in our league, not some of them didn't get the experience of playing big-time football here. Some of them got the experience, coming from Europe and the rest of them. And I think it's going to be a shock for some of them. Look at our backline. William Trustekong, Leon Balogun, if he features, I did play in Nations Cup before. Perhaps maybe for Kenneth Omure, who was part of the team in 2013. You look at the midfield, remove John Mikel Obi, who do we have in the midfield? You look at the attack, remove Ahmed Musa, who else you have in that team? So whether you like it or not, we have that inexperience running through this team. We might have played the qualifiers. The qualifiers is home and away basis.
All right.
It's not something that you go there. I mean, the continent is very, very unique. And when it comes to the Nations Cup, everybody comes with their A game. Right. It's not, and this is the first Nations Cup that will be played in the summer. It's not like when we had in the time past where you say, okay, a player is shuttling between playing at the AFCON and representing his club somewhere in Europe. Everybody is on ground. This is the first time African players are allowed to go through the season playing all their games for their club. And what do we get? 3 African players, emerging highest goal scorers in England. Now they've given all the time in the world. Nobody is being held back anywhere else. They are all coming to the Nations Cup. So it's going to be a huge party. Do we have some football aficionados will tell you that the difference between a team of stars and a star team? Which are we presenting, team of stars or a star team?
All right.
The most functional team at the end of the day, for me, I think. Yeah.
So after that game against the Warriors, the team is going to be cut to 33. But even before we go back to the issue of which players are going to be dropped, will Zimbabwe give us that test? Because from the things that I've heard Rohr say, look, I'm going to sit down and look at that game and look at some players critically. Will the game against Zimbabwe be enough to do all of that?
I think the game against Zimbabwe, listening to Rohr earlier in the week, is basically not to test readiness really for the Nations Cup. Maybe here and there he might
make up his mind on.
But I think he has made up his mind. If you are in camp with 25 players and you are supposed to pick 23, you probably have made up your mind. Really, that's what I think.
Irrespective of what anybody does tomorrow.
Maybe if you are lucky. But I think what he really wants to test tomorrow, and I heard this from him directly, is the fitness of some of the players. He particularly mentioned somebody like Leon Balogun, Kelechi Iheanacho, that have not played regularly. That it would be nice to see them in a game situation and be able to first-hand view of what they can do and the level of their fitness. And I think that's basically what he's looking out for tomorrow. The test for me will be the game against Senegal, which will be the last friendly before the Nations Cup itself. So tomorrow's game is largely going to be, if he stays true to what he said, it will largely be played by players that we've not seen over the last 2-3 months play so much of football. And then he wants to see how they will react and their fitness level. So whether Zimbabwe will be a test or not, I don't think so. I think we just pick 1 or 2 things here and there so that the coach can finalize his team, and then we'll build from there.
Alfred?
Well, the game against Zimbabwe, it's we've over the years had teams prepare playing friendlies. The most popular one, each time I remember it, I just look at it because it can go either way. You win hands-only, you're comfortable. Yeah. You lose scandalously, and everybody is on your case. Togo did it to us before we went to Atlanta. We played the friendly game at the National Stadium.
Beat us 3-1.
Togo beat us 3-1, and everybody was like, these guys are not good enough. You guys are not serious.
They went ahead to
and they went to the World Cup, and how did it end? We've played series of friendlies where, okay, it was a comfortable win. playing, what do you get at the end of the day? So for me, I think just like he mentioned, looking at the fitness of the players, looking at the formation that you want to play, looking at those who are willing, because sometimes the coach might just believe in you, okay, go out there, and you just look at the guy, the person concerned. You just feel that there is absent-mindedness in their player, not ready for this big task. And from that point, the coach might say, you know what, you're not going to be part of this team. Let others just go there. It would be nice to sign off with a win. But tell me, where do you have time to play friendlies before major championship? The windows are not just there. Okay. The windows are not there. So for everybody, it is still the same process for preparation. Right. But just like he said, I'm thinking that Gunnar just might have made up his mind on the kind of players he wants to feature.
All right. It's getting interesting dissecting the Super Eagles and looking at what will happen tomorrow. The two players that will not be going to Egypt when the coach makes his decision. Let's go on a break now. When we return from that break, we'll go to France. We'll also take a look at what is happening in the MPFL Championship playoffs. Join us again.